Good afternoon, everybody. Here, Peggy Joyce with Gwen Williams, and it's November the 20th, a beautiful sunny day again. We're hovering over zero. Hovering over zero, chilly, but still, it's a nice day. Hovering over a few snow flurries on my way over. And the last time we taped was October the 26th, and we were outside. So we're going to get caught up with the last time we have spoken to you, and we're going to just tell you that I've seen Gwen a few times. She's treated a few things that have been going on with me. As you know, she's been trying to treat my fibromyalgia, and what comes with fibromyalgia is many different things. And so it was helping me with a few things that are quite helpful with with hips and with emotions and different things like that. So today we thought we would talk about fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome. And there seems to be a rise on both. And it's something that, I feel as if people should really get to know some information about how you can heal yourself in different ways than just with drugs or with, just living with the pain. There's many things you can do. One thing that I have researched is that there's no real support group. Maybe somebody would like to, investigate in how to start a support group. That would be good. And in support groups, you can find out different ways of how other people are dealing with it and whatnot. And when you do look it up, one of the things that they talk about for alternative is acupuncture, and that has been very helpful. And Gwen here is going to tell us how how it does affect it and how come it is very effective.
Mm-hmm. First of all, Peggy, you look great.
Oh, thank you. You do too, Gwen.
We decided since we're going to be on TV, we start to wear a little makeup and stuff. But and so we're inside today. So we're at Eastern Shore Holistic Acupuncture. I'm Gwen Williams, and we're inside today in my clinic as opposed to outside. And like I said, it's been months since we've actually taped, but trying to get caught up on what's going on with Peggy. And we were just talking earlier about the fact that fibromyalgia is very complex. There's a lot of root cause problems, and there's all the symptoms that happen. And everything's connected. And so we've been working on a lot of the root cause problems, and then as each individual thing becomes the number one critical piece, we'll work on those individually. So there's been a progress in a number of areas.
But I would like to add to that, as a person with fibromyalgia, I thought, and maybe other people will think the same way, is, okay, it's my pain. I want you to work on my pain and get rid of that. But apparently that's just part of it. You really have to work with other things, as I'm learning. And so that might be helpful for when you're trying to treat yourself with the fibromyalgia. You have to look at other elements, which Gwen will speak about.
When it comes to the pain part, you have to take each individual area, and we work on that. And we did work on, feet and hips, and then other areas that we need to work on, so that as things come up as a more urgent, we would work on it. So probably today we're going to work again on some pain areas. And but there's a number of different causes. It's interesting, in Western medicine, they're treating fibromyalgia, for example, as one condition that has a number of pattern of symptoms, and that's how it's really diagnosed. It's really hard to diagnose because it's a number of things that could be fairly, they don't mean a lot. You may have a little bit of depression or a little anxiety or pain that keeps coming back. You don't know what's
from. And being
from.
tired. A lot of tiredness goes with it.
Yeah.
Unexplained tiredness.
Yes, and so there's there's a whole list of symptoms that go with it. What are the lists? Let's have a look here. I'll get my glasses on.
And plus they're also saying that, something traumatic has happened to you that really has brought this on. It could be either, a surgery, an accident, or, a lot of stress, psychological stress in your life has been, the root of why it started. Yeah.
So in our Chinese medicine, we study both the Western and the Chinese aspects to it. And so I have a book by Matt Giocha that I use as a reference book, and we've got quite a few chapters, or a huge chapter on this. But anything, and it's so hard because people don't know why. They may feel a little depressed, may be a bit of numbness or tingling, have difficulty concentrating. Restless leg syndrome, moodiness,
and problems with sleeping.
Yeah, and painful periods, dizziness, anxiety, irritable bowel, headaches, facial pain, problems with sleeping, TMJ, all these things. Yeah. And it's like a whole, on an individual basis, every little thing doesn't really add up. But put it all together, and in fact what they do is there's about 11 different pain points that they will look at the body. And if you have pain in a certain number or percentage of those areas, then they say, yes, you have fibromyalgia.
And you have to go to a rheumatologist in order to get this diagnosis as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like I said, and there's a number of different ways to treat it. And in Western medicine, it's often with painkillers, anti-inflammatory drugs.
Well, they start you off with an antidepressant, thinking that that's going to be helpful. Yeah. And I did do that, and it did nothing for me. I actually really hated it because I didn't like how I felt on this drug, and I didn't feel as if it helped any of my symptoms whatsoever. So I gave it a try because they wanted me to. So I've tried that, and the other thing that they're telling us is that we don't get the proper sleep. We don't get the REM sleep, like the REM sleep. And that's why our muscles are not relaxing and, like fixing themselves. Everybody's muscles, they rejuvenate every night as you sleep, and that's what they do. But apparently with fibromyalgia, they're telling us that this doesn't happen. So if you have fibromyalgia for a couple of years, well, you haven't had relaxed muscles in that many years. So you can imagine how that feels after it builds up after, 10, 20 years.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because in Western medicine, they have a number of different things that can cause, like you say, a single trauma. It could be a poor body mechanics, not sleeping, emotional stress, overwork, all this sort of thing can actually cause it. But in Chinese medicine, a lot of the times it's overwork and stress that are causing it, and then that causes other problems. So we have things like now in our medicine, what they're saying is, and this is what we say, there's the primary channels that are in your body. So your body is covered with meridians or channels where the energy flows. And anytime in our medicine, if the energy is not flowing like it should, then there's going to be pain. And then, like I said, I've said on other episodes, is that what causes that energy not to flow, and where is it not flowing, and why is it not flowing? And so there's many different reasons for that. And because we have what's called the primary channels, they are on there's points on the surface of the body that go directly into the organ systems, and that's called the primary channel. The other channel is called the low connecting channels, and these channels run. They're connected to the primary, but what they do is they run between the skin and the muscle, and that's called low connecting. And that's where all the defensive mechanisms are in Chinese medicine, and their immune systems is at that level, and it defends you from incoming pathogens and things like that. So it's basically, we're saying in Chinese medicine is that there's been some trappage or some stagnation in that system along between the skin and the muscles. Right. And that's where it lies, on top of the muscles and under the skin, and so we have to get to those channels in order to alleviate the pain.
And as we were talking earlier, that does coincide with what I was taught, that it's the fascia that is giving us the inflammation and the pain, which the fascia is what keeps your muscles together and keeps them in place.
Yes.
And so that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's the same thing, isn't it? Yeah. Because some of the studies that we've had, or I've read about, believe that the energy flows along the fascia. So if you're saying that the problems are on the fascia due to inflammation of the fascia, that makes sense, because that's almost like the highway. There's a blockage on the highway, and so you have to kind of,
because it's not a joint problem, it's not a joint pain that we have, even though it's by the joint, so it gets confusing sometimes that it feels like it is, but it's not. They're not swollen, and the joint itself is fine. But since the fascia is connected, it connects there and then goes there, you might get it built up there, and that's why it's more painful by that area.
Yeah. And so basically, whenever we're treating anybody, we treat, how can I say this, there's deficiencies in the body. So if you've been overworking, or you're tired and you don't have enough energy or chi running, you don't have enough fluids in the system, you don't have enough heat to move everything. The fluids are the yin, and the heat and the energy is the yang. So if these things, you don't have enough of them, it's a deficient case. And you don't, even if you have a blockage, you can't move things. So you have to have enough of the resources in your body to actually move that blockage and to keep it free. It's almost like I said, a little stream running. It's going to get blocked a lot quicker if it's running a very low level of water. Things start to trap, the sticks get in the way, everything backs up. So we have to actually, raise that energy and raise the fluid in the body to get everything moving, because even if we get rid of the pain, it's going to come back. So I have to treat the root cause to nourish the body and get it back into shape. So in every treatment, we're nourishing, we're moving, we're getting rid of some of the blockages. And so in some cases, there's phlegm. Phlegm is when it's been blocked for a long time and your water or your stream becomes very viscous and thick, and then it becomes almost like gelatin. It's not moving like it should. It's called phlegm, and that's very difficult to move. So in some cases we have to
now, is that similar to what my doctor was saying is inflammation? Yeah.
Well, what happens when you have things not moving and you've got phlegm and you've got like a thickness, then you get heat. It's almost like friction. So you get heat buildup.
Okay.
And that would cause inflammation.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like I said, everything's connected to the other thing.
Yeah, it is. And you can see how both are really kind of connected, even though they don't really say so much, and they don't treat it in the same way.
Right. No, and they look at it differently.
Yeah.
So we're looking at almost like a big picture perspective.
Right.
Yeah. But, and acupuncture is very successful with that because we're actually getting to the root cause. We're nourishing the body, and then we're also trying to unblock all the blockages to get rid of the pain. And quite often with fibromyalgia, there's so much pain everywhere. It's really difficult to work on all areas at the same time because you want to make sure that the root is looked after. And then if you were to say, take all those 11 pain points, you'd have hundreds of needles, which would be a bit much. But
your body can only do so much at a time, it sounds like.
Yeah, I suppose. But it's we've been taking one thing at a time, picking away at it. Yeah. But like I said, different people, and like in Chinese medicine, we had different causes. So Peggy's fibromyalgia will be different than the next person's, because she has a different set of circumstances, and so we don't treat like I said, we don't treat just the disease. We have to treat the person first, because even though you manifest to have a fibromyalgic type of syndrome, some of your underlying things are going to be much different than somebody else. And if I just treat everybody the same way, you're not going to have the same success rate.
And when you go to a rheumatologist, they treat everybody the same.
Yeah, so that's the way that the medicine
and they just look
works.
for all the same, problems and whatnot, and just try the same thing for everybody.
Yeah.
And
so I've had a number of different clients with fibromyalgia, and I have to say everyone is different, and they react differently to it. And some people have more emotional and sleep disturbances. Other people have. I've had people with prolapses, everything's falling down, and I've had to actually have surgeries and things because it's so hurt. The spleen system is so weak, whereas other people have a phlegm condition. So they're quite different, even though the pain ends up being similar places, right?
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
I know when I was doing my research, when they said alternative healing, the number one thing that they did say was acupuncture.
Yes. Yeah.
Massage can be helpful, but massage can also be damaging in some ways too. Cause, because I mean, if you have like a tender spot and they're really working on that, they could make that a lot worse for a week to 2 weeks on some people, instead of making it working. If you get the wrong massage therapist as well, if they don't know how to work with someone with fibromyalgia, that's what can happen.
Okay. Which makes sense to me, because if you think about it, we have two types of conditions. We have what's called a deficient condition and an excess condition. An excess condition is where maybe the skin and area is very hard, and it hurts to touch it. And in fact, you have to treat that a lot differently than someone who has a deficient condition. When you touch it, it's sore.
It's like a trigger point. Well, the hard one is what they would call a trigger point, because all your muscles are all sort of in a knot. That's how it's explained to me.
And so, but in our medicine, we treat one very different than the other. And so one you're actually draining, and the other one you're actually trying to nourish.
Okay.
So I can see where you can't treat it all the same way.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and some it's more painful to touch than others.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
So I'll just have a look here at my notes, but yeah, there are trigger points involved. You're saying that, and we do use herbal medicine as well to help the nourishing part, and you've been trying a few of the herbal formulas.
I have.
Yeah, and different ones for different situations, and like I said, some of the things that the other things I talk about phlegm and deficiencies, but wind and cold and dampness. Cold is a big one in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, I really have noticed that now that you've told me.
Yeah, dampness and cold, it gets trapped in the body. So you really have to take a lot of measures to protect yourself. You know, your hat, your scarves, no bare feet on the floors. You know, try to protect yourself, because in Nova Scotia that can be a real problem. The other thing people don't realize, I think I told you about not eating a lot of cold foods, especially this time of year. And because that's going to also make it more susceptible to getting cold, right? And cold gets trapped. So even though I said there's different reasons things get clogged, one is because the stream is low and there's not enough water, and then it builds up and gets kind of viscous, and then it creates heat. But the other thing, cold's very contracting and constricting. So cold is a big one, and that's where we use Moxa. Moxa's a have I used the Moxa in you? No, because that's not the issue. But Moxa is like a big, huge cigar that I use. It's got a mugwort in it, and you burn it over the points, and it warms up the body. So for people, and I have a lot of people this time of year coming to me, and actually been teaching the students at school the last few weeks how to use Moxa. It's a lot of fun. You actually take a little bit of punk, put it on top of the needle, let it burn. So have you ever seen movies with Chinese medicine where you see these people with needles and smoke rising from them? That's the Moxa, and it's really warming. Yeah,
interesting.
It's really good. So like I said, cold, wind, dampness can be a problem. Full means excess condition, or could be an empty condition or deficient condition, and could be deep-rooted problems. Could be a blood deficiency as well, and a Qi deficiency. And then you treat the root cause, and you treat the points local to the area, and try to treat the immediate area. You treat both. So there's many different ways to do it. Yeah. And there's another condition that's also very much in the news, and a lot of people have trouble with, because it's one of these chronic fatigue syndrome. It is one of these things that also has a pattern of symptoms that if you collect them all together, they also tell you that you've got chronic fatigue. Right. So it's also very difficult to diagnose. And again, it's really difficult for people. But in our medicine, Chinese medicine, in addition to some of the things that cause fibromyalgia, they can also cause chronic fatigue. But the way we look at it, it's almost a viral, a virus that has gone internal and not actually got resolved. So say you're taking antibiotics, you don't take the full amount, and you don't get rid of the virus, or immunizations, or there's different things that can cause viruses to become trapped in the body. So that's another component that really, really points to some issues causing chronic fatigue. And so in Chinese medicine, we call that a residual pathogenic factor. It's a virus that's been trapped in the body, and we have what's called latent heat. It's heat that starts to, you can have heat in your joints and things like that, but this is a heat that goes internal to the organ systems and starts to burn up the yin, or the nutritive system. You know, everything that causes gives you kind of fluid, and it just starts to burn up inside and causes latent heat. So that's something that we have to treat with.
So would they have like a low grade temperature?
Yes. Yeah, low grade fevers with that. Extreme, and you may even start off with maybe a sore throat, swollen glands, and things like that. Things that just don't get resolved, and it can happen for many reasons. Just like with fibromyalgia, it could be a trauma, it could be overwork, it could be stress, it could be unknown etiology. You know, we're not sure why. But you become weakened and your body can't fight this. Your immune system becomes compromised. You can't fight it, and it may just linger. And so I do have herbs for that too. Yeah. I've had a lot of clients with what I call a residual pathogenic factor. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. So anyhow, maybe that's something you guys can get your folks for Christmas is if you have people in your family that aren't feeling well, maybe get them a gift certificate for acupuncture and Chinese medicine. There's
and that way they'll get them started, and then once they get here, they'll see how much help it is that they'll continue.
Yeah.
But just getting them started is a good thing.
Yeah, you can always give us a call, and I also have we're all about health and wellness.
Right.
We just had to focus today on this particular topic. But, there's many things that you need to do for good health. You have to eat properly. You have to dress properly. Movement is really important. Qigong is a form of medicinal or therapeutic movement. And I have my 5-element dance that I do. And you can always buy the CD for $10. And there it is right there.
Makes a great Christmas gift.
Yeah, it does. And it's a lot of fun to do this dance.
And I think when things are fun, people are more likely to do it than if it's a chore sort of thing.
Yes, and you can do it to your own music too. But like I said, eating well, movement,
and
exercise, drinking water,
yeah.
Drinking the right foods because your food is medicine.
It is, yeah.
And
healthy thinking patterns.
Yes, exactly. Good attitude, finding good ways to deal with stress, meditation. And just enjoying fresh air, being out in nature.
Definitely.
Yeah.
When you explained this to me, it was really interesting, I felt, with the 5 elements. If you just want to talk, a little bit about each one, how that came about.
Basically, there's a woman called Michelle Locke in Australia who developed this Wu Tao dance, and it was based on doing the 5 elements. In Chinese medicine, we have our water, we have our wood, we have our fire, we have our earth, and we have our air or metal. And we look at the body as if it's just like the environment. So there's a relationship in the environment between all these elements, and that mirrors what happens in the body. We have all our organ systems actually mimic all those elements. So kidney is water, liver, gallbladder is wood, heart is fire, spleen and stomach is earth, and lung is air and metal. So these, as things have to be balanced in nature, you have to be balanced in your body. And so this dance actually helps you to work through how all those elements go through the body. So every single dance is based on a meridian system and an organ system and an element. It helps the free up the energy flow in that meridian, and it's actually in the order that the meridians and the chi flows through the body.
Right.
So this is going to help you therapeutically to keep the chi and the energy moving the way it should through the body. And then with each dance, there's a visualization, because with every element there becomes an emotion, a color, a season, a taste, a smell.
And also the music that you selected was for each element.
Exactly.
Which I found quite interesting.
So basically, water is winter. And we're now moving into a season of winter where you have to hibernate. You're like a seed. You have to protect yourself. You have to regenerate. It's all about contemplation and thinking about the future and regeneration. Right? So the dance is like a seed, and you're dancing, and the music is similar. And then the spring you emerge full of energy, like a tree. It's all about planning and vision and accomplishments. And so that music mimics that. And then the air metal, where sometimes in life there's grief and concern. Air and metal is all about the lung, but that's also about grief and losses in your life. It's good sometimes therapeutically just to let that go. So in the dance you let that go. And then as you come to earth, which is spleen and stomach, you become more grounded to the earth, you see. And you start to think about being grateful for what's in your life and giving thanks to the earth and giving thanks to all the good things, your blessings. So that dance is about that part. And I like the last dance is the best. It's the fire dance, where you've actually emerged as your true self after having gone through all these life-changing things that we all go through. It's like a life cycle. And you emerge as your true self, and you can wipe off all the dust and the hurt and the heartache that life has brought on you, and you can emerge as a woman on fire and have become your true self and have actually earned a lot of good wisdom and joy in who you are. So that's what I really like with the dance. So it's movement therapeutic, but it's also visualization and thinking about all those emotions too.
And I just want to point out that we're very lucky that Gwen has done this, because nobody else has that around here. And it's something that I'm going to take with me today, and I'm going to try it and let you know how it works for me. I'm excited to give it a try, because I like the thoughts of the dancing and, cleansing myself and, movement, whatnot. And I know that Qigong is a very good movement for fibromyalgia and everybody, but, they really say fibromyalgia because they're gentle movements. So, you incorporated that with the other dance.
Yes.
So this is something I'm looking forward to trying.
It's very easy to do. And you can if you don't like the music, you can always pick out your own music for the dances, and that's what people really like.
But she did pick out good music.
I like the music. It's a little bit old-fashioned for some people, but Alicia Keys is there and Nelly Furtado in there, so it's all old-fashioned music. So that'd be a lot of fun. So anyhow, you can contact us. You can contact us at gogetitnow.biz. And if you have any comments or questions.
Yes, we'd like to hear any kind of comments or questions. Just send them to gogetitnow.biz, and we'll answer all your questions. And, we like your comments. So, we may even mention them online here. So, please keep them coming. And we enjoy and we're grateful that you're watching, and we want you to continue watching. And we will have another show probably in
4 weeks.
In 4 weeks. And so we look forward to that, December 16th.
Yes.
On December the 16th. So we look forward to seeing you again. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you again.
Right.
Thank you, Gwen.
Bye. Thanks, Peggy.